Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is singer Lee Greenwood. Lee, thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Brittany. Nice to talk to you.
It is nice to speak with you, especially as you get geared up and excited for a big week ahead for you. You have been invited to perform your hit song, God Bless the USA, at Donald Trump's inauguration next week. So talk to us about being asked, what does that feel like?
Well, the president asked me personally while we were at Mar-a-Lago. And we'd had an event that there at night. We knew that there was anticipation because he uses God Bless USA as an entrance song, as you know. I've sang half a dozen times or more with him live, as you would remember, Madison Square Garden, Butler, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and a few places. And so, and up until I got the official request, it was like an assumption. But then he said, and I asked him, I said, would you want me to in D.C.? He said, absolutely. I want you to sing for me at the inauguration. So here's the thing. It's going to be a little bit different than it was at the RNC in Milwaukee or other performances, which generally uses my track. The track was recorded by my own band, which we perform. And by the way, directly after the swearing in, we start the American Spirit Tour around the country with my group and perform all 2025 across the United States. So I'm preparing for that tour as well. And my band's on the bus now heading for Florida. So when he said perform there, I said, well, okay, we'll figure that out. So then I got a call from the United States Marine Corps Band. The commander said, the president has asked us if we could play for you live. Can that happen? I immediately said yes. We put my band leader in touch with them. We got the arrangement done. I'll have rehearsal on Sunday, and then we will perform live with the band only moments before Donald Trump puts his hand on the Bible and swears an oath to the country and becomes the 47th president of the United States.
It's definitely going to be a must-watch moment. And as you touched on, you've performed at different Trump rallies and with the president, and throughout his rallies from really 2016 and onward. But in this past campaign season, you were there for some really pivotal moments. And the two I'm specifically thinking about is the RNC. You sang as President Trump was walking out, and that was just 2 days after he survived that assassination attempt. You also joined him back in Butler, Pennsylvania, back in October, just a few months after the assassination attempt at the scene where it happened. So can you talk to us about those moments and what it means singing God Bless the USA and the gravity in that time?
Well, you being from Pennsylvania, of course, then it's pretty apparent to you the importance of those events. I remember back on the terrorist attack in 2001 when the American patriots took that plane down into the field in Pennsylvania. So there's a lot surrounding the state of Pennsylvania in its importance and the assassination attempt on the president. Yes, I was not there for the first appearance there where he was attempted to be killed. I went back to Butler and performed with him then, and the crowd was 5 times as big. There's been those moments before, but the Secret Service this time was doubled in its importance, and it should have been. Prior to that, there must have been some problems with the FBI, the CIA, whatever, and they were not considering any particular or possible threat. Things changed immediately. And any of my next 4 performances for the president became much more observed by the Secret Service. We went to North Carolina for the evangelical performance, which was important because he wanted to profess his faith to them, and that went well without a hitch. And I had to fly in from Los Angeles because I was performing at the NASCAR race. And then, of course, Madison Square Garden, where when we came into New York that afternoon, the street was lined with 100,000 people who just wanted to get a look at him. And I said, this is New York. This is not like Kansas or somewhere in the South, Tennessee. And that would gave me a different perspective of what we're about to accomplish, and that is to win the election. And on election night, we were at Mar-a-Lago and the war room and kind of watched things develop. And we knew probably an hour or so before they called the election that he was actually going to win. So it does change the way things go, but you just have to kind of roll with it because that's the way it seems like these big elections go. You just have to be part of the machinery and then just kind of change as it goes.
And as you noted, you've performed this countless times over the years. Has the tone shifted at all? Has that changed? Especially because I talked to lawmakers who were at the RNC and there was visible emotional reactions when you performed that song. Did the tone change there? And what do you think the tone and the mood is going to be on Monday?
Well, let me address the RNC in Milwaukee. We were asked to come in 2 days early. That's not normal. Again, enhanced security. There were no vehicles allowed within the perimeter. You had to have very special clearance to get a golf cart. I mean, it was like, and we did an enormous amount of media in the second event. Were you, I don't know if you were there in Milwaukee or not, but that, I mean, the media coverage was immense. And then when we finally, and this is interesting because you would not know this, most of the time when I perform with the president or he uses my song, it is a track. The track is recorded by my performance group. We've produced it ourselves. I use it at stadiums. When we perform at University of Tennessee in Knoxville, there's 110,000 people at the same time. That's a huge crowd in person. So at the RNC in Milwaukee, it wasn't that big a crowd, but it was electric and it was emotional. He had just been shot at. He came with a bandage on his right ear. Now here's the thing that's important. The band that was playing at the RNC was live. And they're a band that worked for me 10 years prior when I met my wife on a USO tour. So they worked for me for a long time playing all of my country hits, including the closer USA, which we performed all around the world for the United States military. Had it been my track, it only 3 minutes and 20 seconds. You cannot elongate the track. It's just what it is. When the president-elect with J.D. Vance enters the arena, we had already finished part of the song. The band knew, don't finish the song, keep playing. Donald Trump very carefully and slowly walked up the stairs, as you noticed, very slowly and confidently got in his box, till the vice president-elect stood next to him. My eyes were on Trump Jr. because Trump Jr. was my contact. And I knew when he looked at his father and then looked at me and got eye contact, this is the moment when you introduce the president. Say the right thing. I went into the second verse of the song. At that moment, it was time to actually say what I felt from my heart. I wanted the president-elect, Donald Trump, to know this arena, these people are his people. They all love him, they care for him as a human being, and we know what you have just went through. We want you to know you are our candidate, you are our next president. So all of the words that came out of my mouth were just by my heart. I said what I felt.
And now, fast forward to this Monday, you're performing at his next inauguration. You performed at the welcome celebration of his last inauguration. You've been and performed at past presidential inaugurations. What do you think about this one is going to be different?
Well, it's going to be outside. It's going to be cold.
Bundle up, bring those hand warmers.
But performing with the United States Marine Corps Band live, the only thing I can anticipate would be a problem with an audio defect with my microphone. Otherwise, I don't anticipate any problems at all. They know their arrangement. I'll have a rehearsal with them on Sunday before the victory rally with Kid Rock. And I'm quite sure that it's going to go without a hitch. And of course, within moments, the president then takes his oath and Carrie Underwood sings America the Beautiful, which is a tradition song. It's why I'm not singing God Bless USA after he swears in. I'm singing before him.
Carrie Underwood actually has faced some backlash after it was announced she's performing America the Beautiful. And she said this in a statement, quote, "I love our country and am honored to have been asked to sing at the inauguration and to be a small part of this historic event, and that I am humbled to answer the call at a time when we must all come together in the spirit of unity and looking to the future." What are your thoughts on the backlash and her response?
Perfect. She's a friend of mine. I've sang with her before. A great artist. Everybody loves her on Sunday Night Football when she makes sure she does her little welcome to this game, you know. And they've taped a lot of things with different teams so that she had that to play ahead of time. And she's a fantastic artist. I think her statement was perfect. I think those people should go to hell. I mean, leave us alone, you know. We're going to sing for the President of the United States. What would happen if the Queen of England asked me to perform for her? I would go perform for the Queen of England. I don't care who it is. So the President asked you to sing, I'd say go sing.
And you've said in past interviews that you don't want to make God Bless the USA political. So if a Democrat asked you to sing that who was being sworn in, you would sing it there too, right?
Absolutely.
I do want to ask, because you and I talked in April about your God Bless the USA Bibles. When Donald Trump takes his oath of office next week, he puts his hand on the Bible. Is it going to be one of the God Bless the USA Bibles?
Well, I don't know if you know it or not. If you go to a Christian bookstore, there's probably 50, 60 Bibles that you can buy. Various versions. We have a King James version of the God Bless the USA Bible. But recently displayed, I saw a picture where several congressmen and senators actually picked up the God Bless USA Bible. It is the Holy Bible, King James version. And by the way, it just as a footnote, it is available on leegreenwood.com or GodBlessUSABible.com. And it has the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, our Founding Fathers documents. What's wrong with that? I think it's perfect. And if people should have one right now in their hands so that they can have the same thing that Donald Trump may put his hand on when he swears an oath to the country.
May put his hand on, you're not ruling it out. Are there any other details or any other surprises that you can clue us in on that we can expect come Monday as the nation watches the next inauguration of Donald Trump?
Yeah, I think you should be aware of what my wife's going to wear. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, Lee Greenwood, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for giving us a little preview of what's to come Monday. We look forward to watching you.
I'm excited. Brittany, thank you very much for covering the inauguration, and enjoy Washington, D.C. and how cold it's going to be.